This is the Scorecard, where you score the latest sports news and in-depth views. I'm Anton Roxas. On the Scorecard tonight, another New York team gets a foot in the World Series door. WNBA delivers a home crowd heartbreak. Strong mid-rounds was key to the ICTSI championship. Siblings Vince and Kat Tolentino adapt their competitiveness to the food business. All that and more on the Scorecard tonight, the 11th of October. Now, here's our roundup. In Game 4 of the American League Division Series, David Fry's 3 RBI performance powered the Cleveland Guardians as the away team tied the series with the Detroit Tigers 5-4. Fry's 2-run homer in the 7th put Cleveland ahead, and while both teams scored a run in the 9th, the Tigers failed to get the second run they needed to push the game into extra innings. Game 5 will be at Progressive Field in Cleveland, with the Tigers starting their ace, Tariq Skubal. In the other game for ALDS, Garrett Cole pitched 7 dominant innings, giving up just 1 run as the New York Yankees defeated the Kansas City Royals 3-1 to secure a spot in the American League Championship Series. Clay Holmes and Luke Weaver continued the bullpen scoreless streak to close out the game. Now, the biggest question is, with the Mets just waiting for either the Dodgers or the Padres in the National League, and now the Yankees just waiting for either the Guardians or the Tigers in the American League, is a repeat of the 2000 All-New York World Series in the cards? In the WNBA, the Board of Governors announced today that next year's finals will adopt a best-of-7 format. As of now, though, the Minnesota Lynx rallied from an 18-point deficit in the first half and 15 points down with less than 5 minutes to go in regulation to force an extension amid a star-studded, loud and proud New York crowd of 17,732. But Nafisa Collier's clutch turnaround jumper with 8.8 seconds left led the Lynx to a 95-93 overtime win against the New York Liberty in Game 1 of the best-of-5 WNBA Finals. Zanny Boy Gialon won the ICTSI Iloilo Golf Challenge with a 6-shot lead after a final round 68. His previous rounds of 69, 64, and 66 had already put him in a strong position. Gialon's solid performance and key putting secured his first win in 2 years, finishing with a 13-under 267 total for the trophy and the 450,000 peso top prize. Angelo Ke and Ira Alido tied for second at 273. Now, at the start of the NCAA second round of eliminations, Ato Barba's near triple-double performance with 19 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists greatly helped Lyceum of the Philippines avenge its previous round's loss to Colegio de San Juan de Letran 91-68. The return of injured players J.M. Bravo and Michael Versosa also bolstered the Pirates' campaign. King Gurtiza's standout performance in the fourth quarter secured Emilio Aguinaldo College's 78-70 victory over the University of Perpetual Help System Dalta, keeping them in contention for the Final Four in NCAA Season 100. Gurtiza scored 9 of his 21 points in the final period, helping the Generals reach a 5-5 record while dropping the Altas to 4-6. Now, in the Shanghai Masters quarterfinal, 7th seed Tommy Fritz conquered unseeded giant killer David Goffin with a score of 6-3, 6-4. This makes their career head-to-head 2-1 in favor of Fritz, who now advances to his 5th Masters 1000 semifinal. TNT secured a dominant 108-91 victory over Rain or Shine, giving them a 2-0 lead in their best-of-7 semifinal series in the PBA Governor's Cup. Head coach Chot Reyes emphasized the need to stay focused and to keep pushing as they aim to reach the finals and defend their title. Earlier today, Northport player John Amores has been suspended without pay from all upcoming PBA Commissioner's Cup games due to a shooting incident in Lumban, Laguna. To return, he must complete a counseling program for anger management. Amores can practice during his suspension, but faces stricter penalties if he exhibits violent behavior. This decision involves coordination with the Games and Amusements Board. Amores is also facing attempted homicide charges, raising questions about why he hasn't received a lifetime ban. This decision was explained by PBA Legal Counsel Attorney Ogie Narvasa.
It's really not a slap on the wrist because he's suspended for the rest of the conference. So the PBA supports its teams, coaches, players, and staff as much as it can, of course within reasonable bounds. It is not the intention of the PBA to ostracize their players whenever they violate PBA rules and standards. You have to understand, our players come from diverse backgrounds, but sometimes a bit of support, caring, and understanding from the PBA family will get them through their difficulties. The PBA helps them overcome these issues for them to be better players and citizens. The PBA, of course, would be most happy if through its compassion and concern, the players, once rogue or rough, become the people's inspiration both as hardcore heroes and model citizens. The PBA just trusts that with the care that they give their players, they would not squander the opportunity, that they learn from their mistakes and be worthy of remaining in the PBA. If they continue to not heed this support given to them by the PBA, well, the PBA will have no choice but to separate them from the PBA. He has to undergo counseling. Let's say the period of suspension has already lapsed. He will not be allowed to play until he gets a clearance from counselors.
And that's our roundup for tonight, the 11th of October. When we return, siblings Vince and Kat Tolentino are cooking up something special. So watch out for that right here on The Scorecard. Vince Tolentino was the team captain of the Ateneo Blue Eagles when they won the UAAP men's basketball crown back in season 80. His sister Kat was the leading scorer of the Ateneo women's volleyball team when they won the championship the following year in UAAP season 81. These days, aside from playing professionally in their respective sports, Vince and Kat are channeling all their attention and energy towards an exciting new venture. All right, Kat, let's take a trip down memory lane. Let's talk about your Ateneo Lady Eagle title run back in UAP season 81. What are your most fondest memories with that experience?
I think just the process of everything, of what it took to win the championship. It was a long journey for me, especially with Ateneo and all my injuries. It was just nice to... Actually, I don't remember the championship itself specifically. I just remember all the work that we put in. So it's just nice looking back at that. Yeah.
Ateneo has not won a championship since that time. So what do you think has changed? And from somebody who used to be there, now on the outside looking in, what do you think they need to improve or work on to get back to that level?
I think it takes time because it's really a rebuilding team. They're all young and it's hard because they don't necessarily have the veterans that are there to guide them. And I think for me, it took a few years to even just experience the finals. So patience is key, and I think trusting also in their coach's system. They have to understand that it's a process. As
somebody who has won a championship with Ateneo and knows what it takes to reach the mountaintop, what do you think is lacking with Chocomucho? I mean, you guys have been to the finals twice. What do you think you guys have to do to get over the hump?
I think any sport is discipline, because it's a discipline to stick with the system and to trust that the process of working hard and staying patient and disciplined throughout the whole, not just the whole year, but the whole, like whatever years you do play in Ateneo. Yeah, discipline. I mean, it's hard to be a student athlete. It's tiring and you don't get much sleep. You're training or you're at school, and it just takes a lot of discipline because you can't slack off. You can't just be a normal student where you go out with your friends. You have to manage your time really well.
For Kat's brother Vince,
the journey to a collegiate championship was similarly long, but sweet one.
All right, Vince, I fondly remember this article I read about you. You came here when you were 18 from Canada, and you were chasing that basketball dream. So as you look back to that time when you were 18 and how far you've come, what are your most fondest memories of playing basketball here and chasing that dream?
Yeah, you know, I've been here for such a long time now. What I really learned and what I valued the most was the connections I made with the people along this journey. I mean, it's just something that you can't really replace.
I think your story is great because when you arrived, this was on the back end of the 5-peat of Ateneo.
Exactly.
And it took you 5 years. On your final year, that's when you finally got the championship. Is it true that you almost didn't come back for your 5th year?
Yeah, actually, during my first 3 years, I was having a hard time here, right? I didn't really know anyone. I'm obviously from Canada, so it was such a new experience for me, definitely a culture shock. So even in the early stages, I already wanted to leave. But as far as in my final year, I was definitely considering just going straight pro after but I really wanted to get a championship before I left Ateneo. And based on my 4th year, where we made it to the finals and lost to LaSalle, I can't end. I couldn't end like that, right? So I decided to come back for 1 more year, and you know, from there, the rest is history, I guess. So yeah, it was it was a blessing because I finally decided to come back, and we eventually won the championship. So that was big.
For the siblings, going pro was the next logical step.
Now, one of the exciting things about that was that a lot of the players from that championship team transitioned with you together with Chocomucho. Even Coach Oliver Almadro in the beginning was with Chocomucho, but obviously it was a different experience playing in the collegiate level and the pro ranks. Could you talk to me about that experience and how you guys made the transition?
The level of play is so different. It's a lot higher. Of course, you're playing with the best volleyball players, and I found that over the years, PVL has improved so much in terms of competition.
Yeah, a lot of changes definitely with Chocomucho, and we're gonna get to that in a bit. But you guys have almost won the championship with Chocomucho. What do you think will be that maybe missing piece or final ingredient to finally win Chocomucho's first ever PVL championship?
I actually believe that we're almost there. I mean, we've gone to the finals twice already. We've just had a bit of obstacles, of course, like injuries or getting sick. Or for me, I wasn't able to play as much last conference because I got sick. But then, I guess just understanding that, again, patience, like what I said before with Ateneo, you have to be patient with the team.
So I'm kind of sad about this because I've seen you girls grow together, win championships together, but now it's obviously a different look for Chocomucho. Maddie Madea getting recruited, props to her, going to Japan, and of course BDL winning a championship with Creamline. So naiwan ka dito sa Chocomucho. So what's it like for you being the last of the Triple Towers standing here with the Flying Titans?
It's, of course, bitter, or actually, yeah, it's not what I wanted or what I expected going into Chocomucho, but I guess I understand it's more about growth. It's not anymore about same as college where you stick to the same school for 5 years. Pro is really about finding yourself and growing in whatever way you can in your career as a volleyball player. Because for me also, I understand your career as an athlete is very short. And for Bea and Maddie, I mean, if they really feel that like Maddie, she's going to Japan, I think that will be such a great opportunity for her to grow. And for Bea as well, I'm happy for her as well because if she feels, actually she's grown a lot in Creamline. And for me, I'm okay sticking with Chocomucho because I really am, I really feel like we can win the championship, and I want to stay on the team until that happens.
Chocomucho and Creamline are sister teams, but when I covered the Sisterhood Showdown, that's the first time that I really felt the rivalry between the two teams. So could you talk to us a little bit about that in terms of the rivalry and the fans? It's different because it's sister teams.
Yeah. They're basically like the older sister. They're more experienced. They have more veterans. A lot more championships, right? But I think the rivalry is something that's so great for Philippine volleyball because it's helped more people become more interested in the sport, and the support from also the fans and the Ribisco teams are really amazing. And I see how much support, even when it's not just Creamline Chocamucho, they support both teams.
For Vince, going into the Pro League was indeed another fulfilling milestone.
Yeah, so right after college, I went to the PBA D League, played for Go for Gold with Coach Charles Chu. We were able to secure a championship there, so it was nice to transition right after college, being able to win and then going to the D League and helping the team win the championship was building up my confidence there, so it was very good.
All right, tell me a little bit about your 3x3 experience. I know that was very fruitful and rewarding considering that you got to represent the Philippines and travel the world.
You know, that was, of course, a different experience for me. I played 5-on-5 my whole life.
Yeah.
3x3 game is completely different in my eyes now, knowing how the game works. But, you know, it was a great experience. But just being able to be on the same court as these guys helped me learn a lot and gain experience and knowledge about the 3x3 games.
All right, Vince, now you're playing in the MPBL for Pangasinan.
Yeah.
What other things that, what are some of the other things that you want to achieve as a basketball player?
This is my first pro league. Coming back to the MPBL again this time around. I'm a little more experienced. I have more of a veteran presence there. But of course, the goal is to always win a championship. You know, it would be nice if I could get an MPBL championship in the books. And you know, with us being a new team in Pangasinan, that's our goal. We're trying to build a team that will compete for a championship. So very exciting to see what's going to happen.
Vince and Kat are now bringing their shared passion for sports into business, venturing into one that Pinoys love the most, food.
All right, now let's transition into the business side. How did this idea to start a restaurant business come about?
Actually, it was more my brother who introduced me. He's, I guess, more of the... he wanted to look more outside of sports, and he's older than me by 2 years, so he's also looking into the future. And I guess this opportunity was just a good way for us to kind of look ahead, because obviously volleyball and basketball aren't going to be with us forever, and we have to prepare.
How much does a space like this cost, like a ballpark figure for anybody who might be interested, watching right now, might be interested in getting into the restaurant business?
So for a restaurant like this, probably around 5.5 million. Again, our location is in Antipolo, so the market would be a little cheaper, you would say, than in the city in Manila, but that's around the ballpark that I would say.
What are some of your most favorite dishes here at Ihaw Kamayan?
For me, I love the kare-kare and the bulalo. I would say those are my top two dishes. Of course, sinigang is classic for me. So even back home in Canada, that was my mom's go-to specialty. So those probably three dishes would be my go-to as far as the Filipino menu.
So what is your favorite dish here sa Ihaw Kamayan?
Oh, that's hard. I would say the kare-kare or the sisig. Yeah.
Did you have a lot of that in Canada? Kare-kare? No?
We don't have Filipino food really. Only what my mom cooks. So like sinigang, adobo.
Okay, all right. So you also have that here, sinigang and adobo.
Yeah, we have here.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
nice,
we have
nice.
a lot of Filipino food.
For Kat, still, the ultimate dream is to continue working on her passion for volleyball.
Do you have any personal goals with regards to having a different business in the future? And if so, what business would you like to venture into?
I think, yeah, related to volleyball, still like clinics or because as a kid, when I grew up in Canada, I always would go to those volleyball clinics, and I would always learn so much. So I think that would be a cool business venture for me in the future.
Cognizant of the fact that a career in professional sports is not forever, Kat and Vince Tolentino are now channeling their passion into business with the same focus and discipline that have made them champions. And yes, Kat can really serve up a dish.
When the scorecard returns, be sure to keep your eyes on the prize. Welcome back to the scorecard. It's time to keep your eyes on the prize. We'll break down the upcoming matchups to deliver key insights that might just give you the edge that you need to stay ahead of the game. Boxing fans worldwide are eagerly anticipating the explosive clash between two undefeated titans. This Saturday, October 12 at 3 p.m. Philippine time, live from the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Artur Beterbiev, with a flawless record of 20 wins, all by 20 knockouts, while Dmitry Bivol stands tall with 23 victories and 12 knockouts. This highly anticipated bout will be a legacy-defining battle for the undisputed light heavyweight championship, with Beterbiev's WBC, WBO, and IBF titles on the line and Bivol's WBA crown at stake. The winner will emerge as the division's undisputed ruler, the first since Roy Jones Jr. achieved the feat in 1999. Artur Beterbiev, a devastating knockout artist. Beterbiev has a perfect 100% knockout ratio, making him the only reigning world champion with such a record. Known for his relentless power and ferocity, the Russian-born Quebec-based fighter has claimed victories over notable opponents like Alexander Vosdik, Joe Smith Jr., and Callum Smith. At 39, age might be a factor, but Beterbiev's raw power and ability to break down opponents make him a dangerous competitor. Dmitry Bivol, the WBA title holder. Bivol is a brilliant technician, recognized for his precision and ring IQ. He stunned the boxing world in May 2022 with a dominant decision victory over Canelo Alvarez. At 33, Bivol is in his prime and boasts an impressive resume with wins over John Pascal, Joe Smith Jr., and Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. Bivol is known for his defensive mastery and footwork, making him a tough puzzle for any opponent to solve. Beterbiev's knockout power is his hallmark. Every punch he throws can change the outcome of a fight, and his ability to cut off the ring and corner opponents makes him a dangerous predator. Despite his age and recent injury setbacks, Beterbiev remains a force of nature in the ring. His sheer determination and physicality mean that he can wear down even the most technical boxers over 12 rounds. Bivol's greatest advantage is his technical skill set. While he lacks the knockout power of Beterbiev, his agility, defensive mastery, and ability to control the pace of the fight give him the tools needed to outbox his opponent. The key for Bivol will be avoiding Beterbiev's heavy hands and maintaining distance. His convincing victories over Canelo and Zurdo Ramirez show that he can neutralize aggressive fighters, though Beterbiev presents a unique challenge. Bivol enters the fight as the slight favorite at -140, with Beterbiev as the underdog at +120. This reflects the razor-thin margin in predictions for this bout, with analysts divided on whether Bivol's technical mastery or Beterbiev's brutal power will prevail. Many experts believe that Bivol has the skill to outbox Beterbiev early, But the Russian knockout artist's persistence and power could turn the tide in the latter rounds. This fight promises to be a tactical yet explosive showdown. Expect Bivol to control the distance, using his footwork to stay outside of Beterbiev's range, while Beterbiev will look to close the gap and unleash his devastating power shots, aiming to wear down Bivol's defense as the rounds go on. Both fighters are undefeated and each has the tools to win. Now the question is whether Bivol's ring generalship will be enough to keep Beterbiev at bay, or if Beterbiev's raw power will once again prove too overwhelming for his opponent. With all 4 belts on the line, this fight is about more than just titles. It's about cementing legacies. Both men have beaten every challenge in front of them, dominating the light heavyweight division. The victor will not only unify the championship but also secure a place in boxing history. As Arthur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol step into the ring, the world will be watching what could be one of the greatest light heavyweight battles in recent memory. It's a classic clash of styles, power versus finesse, grit versus precision. Whatever unfolds, October 12 promises to deliver a fight for the ages. So, keep your eyes on the prize. And of course, as always, we have updates. In the Rolex Shanghai Masters quarterfinals, Novak Djokovic taught the upstart Jakub Mensik a lesson in endurance with a 6-7, 6-1, 6-4 win. Djokovic will face Tommy Fritz in the semifinals tomorrow after the match between Yannick Sinner and Tomas Machak. The PBA Governors Cup semifinals Game 2 went into overtime. San Miguel and Ginebra are still playing as of now. Now, before we go, think on this from the successful Japanese-American athlete businessman, Rocky Aoki. He says, "You win only if you aren't afraid to lose." Aoki left behind a successful business and $40 million at the time of his passing in 2008. And with that, thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you again here next week on The Scorecard, where sports is our business and business is our sport, right here on the Billionaire News Channel. My name is Anton Roxas. Have a blessed evening and happy weekend.